Episode 5, Seeds of Revolution. Paris, a city on edge, a city starving, a city waiting for the match that will set the world on fire. While London enjoys calm evenings and warm hearths, Paris lives under the weight of hunger, anger, and the long, bitter memory of injustice. This is the episode where small moments become warnings, where spilled wine becomes spilled blood, where the streets of Saint Antoine begin to tremble beneath the coming storm. The air in Saint Antoine is thick, not with smoke or fog, but with despair. Narrow streets crawl with hungry families. Children cry for bread. Mothers barter scraps. Fathers stare with hollow eyes at a world that has abandoned them. And through it all, Madame Defarge watches from the doorway of the wine shop. Her knitting needles click steadily. Cold as steel, precise as fate. Every stitch holds a name. Every name holds a death. Beside her, Ernest Defarge tends to the customers, pouring wine in quiet rebellion at the same time. The storm is far from full strength, but its winds are already whispering. On an ordinary afternoon, a cask of wine falls from a cart and shatters on the cobblestones. Red liquid floods the street, pouring into the cracks, running like a river of blood. Instantly, the starving people rush forward. They scoop the wine with broken pieces of pottery, with rags, with their bare hands. Some crawl on their knees licking the stones. The scene is desperate, tragic, haunting, and standing above them, Madame Defarge watches, silent and unblinking. To her, this is not just wine, it is a prophecy. The streets of Paris will one day run with real blood, and she intends to see it happen. That night, Ernest Defarge leads a small group of men up the staircase of the wine shop to the same attic where Dr. Manette once lived as a prisoner. He opens the door as if opening a grave. "This is what the nobles did," he says, gesturing to the shoemaker's tools still kept as a relic. "This is why we fight." The men nod, not in fear, but in determination. They call themselves Jacques, a secret brotherhood bound by revolt. Their whispers fill the attic like the first sparks of a wildfire. Defarge raises his fist. "When the time comes," he declares, "Paris will rise." Downstairs, Madame Defarge continues knitting, her hands fast, relentless, unforgiving. A new name enters her tapestry, one tied to old pain, deep wounds, and a powerful noble family. A name she will never forgive, a name connected to Charles Darnay. Lucy knows nothing. Dr. Manette feels nothing, but fate has already begun to tighten the noose, and Madame Defarge will be the one holding the rope. In the days that follow, bread grows even scarcer. Children cry louder. The poor grow restless. A single loaf becomes a battle. A single insult becomes a riot. A single act of cruelty sparks fury. The nobles walk the streets with disdain and armed guards. The peasants whisper in doorways, their anger simmering like a sealed pot ready to explode. Every sound in Paris feels like a countdown, and Madame Defarge knows what is coming. She feels it in her bones. One night, as the lanterns flicker across the wine shop, a stranger arrives, a tax official. Cruel, arrogant, he insults the poor, laughs at their misery, and leaves the shop with a smug smile. Minutes later, he is dead, killed on the dark road by unseen hands. Paris has tasted its first revenge. The people whisper his death with quiet satisfaction. The aristocracy calls it murder. Saint Antoine calls it justice. The truth? It is only the beginning. In London, life moves gently forward. Friendships form, love grows, hope blossoms. But in Paris, the soil is shifting. The fuse is burning. The heart of the city beats faster each night. The seeds of revolution have been planted. Soon, they will bear fruit, and the world will never be the same.